Hi, it's me, the autistic Gen X person with anxiety and depression, but some call me Tim. Coffee sip. Yes, I know it sounds weird to not say the autistic Gen X software developer, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get another job as a software developer. A friend of mine has also been laid off, and because it seems like we're over 50, nobody's going to hire us. Nobody wants to pay a lot of money for us. We're old and cranky and yell, "Get off my lawn," when you try and throw new technology at us. And with AI, like I get all these emails from recruiters for jobs that I don't have any qualifications for whatsoever. Like how does the AI not know that writing software and engineering hardware and programming FPGAs for firmware are not the same? Software developer, front end or back end, is not the same as a UX designer or a test engineer or a manager. And I'm certainly not going to work from home, earning $1 to $4 million a day with your super training, and all I have to do is pay $10,000 up front. Like, I don't know. Actually, a guy that I used to work with, I messaged him for a reference quite a while ago for the last job that I had, that I got let go from. And he said he was, he's becoming a police officer because he needed a job that was less stressful, less stressful than software. Can you imagine? I'm going to be a cop. It's just so much easier than programming computers. You would think that that's silly. And then you've never experienced a toxic software development environment, because it absolutely makes perfect sense to me. Being a programmer is hard. You come up against all these things that you just never thought you would have to deal with. For example, the reason I'm bringing all this up is I was trying to figure out something to talk about, and I'm scrolling through the internet and the news, and I can't find anything, and I go on Reddit, I'm scrolling through, and then I see r/mildly infuriating. It says, I accidentally put my oven in Sabbath mode, and now I can't turn it off. What the heck does that mean? Well, you might not know what this means. I know because I worked on the user interface for a Whirlpool oven with Sabbath mode. And so there was so many weird and little edge cases because, well, here, let me show you. So the oven Sabbath mode. Should I keep the yawns in? I feel like nobody ever does that, but I'm tired as hell. How the all are you guys just doing these videos and you're not like yawning or sleeping? Like it's crazy. Okay. Sabbath mode keeps the oven on in a continuous bake setting until it's manually turned off while disabling other cycle sounds and the automatic shutoff feature. Okay. Now stop for a second and back up. You are concerned about safety of your appliances. And then you tell the programmer, oh, by the way, there's this mode when you push the button in this certain sequence, then it just stops doing things. When you push the button, it's going to change things, but you'll get no indication. There'll be no sound. The temperature on the oven the number won't actually change. It will appear that nothing is working, but it's still working. And so somehow this will help you lie to God. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, let's just pretend, this invisible being that knows everything, but he's also dumb. And so he's these rules, but you don't really have to follow them. I don't know. I don't know a lot about these things. But I can tell you that this I lost 6 months of my life trying to um, figure out all of the requirements for this mode and how you can like basically disable every safety feature on the oven except keep it. It wasn't designed for this. Like, I mean, it probably goes without saying. The original code did not expect this. And then it was like, oh, shoehorned in later. And then I inherited it. And I had to make it work. This was actually one of the reasons why I left this job was the idiot boss. we, the technology, just imagine that they have this software and you write these configuration files to generate the user interfaces. Like you see in this little picture here, there's buttons and text and stuff, and you click buttons and you go to other screens and fine. All right. If you develop a new user interface, then you start from scratch. You have this text file and you write down all the description of all the buttons and the screens and all of that. And then it translates that into code, it puts it on the thing, and there's your user interface. And we were having a meeting where I was demonstrating some of the stuff. And the question came up about this feature of the software where you can sort of lay out the user interface. And I didn't know anything about it. And so that was used as a point that I should be fired because for God's sake, man, you don't even understand this technology. I tried to explain it to the moron in charge, but he was too dumb to understand what I was saying. These screens, you could fit like 10 of them onto the firmware. The chip, it was so small and so crappy. And the company, rightly so, tried to save as much money as they could by getting the cheapest, smallest piece of crap that would work and putting that in the oven to save money, right? And it makes sense. It's fine. But whoever did this before me was a very smart guy. I mean, I know the guy. He handed it to me. Very smart guy. Very capable software engineer. They had to make like 5 screens and hard code those and then make every input and output from those 5 screens changeable. And that was it. You couldn't add a 6th screen. I could go into the code and be like, I want to have a 6th screen that does these things. No, it won't fit. You compile it and try and put it onto the hardware. It's too big. Oh, yeah. And if you tried to change anything in those screens, it's too big. Won't fit. So, this is the only software I worked with at this place. So yes, I literally never touched this whole aspect of the code because I was the only guy on this project. And this was all I did for 2 years. And never once did I ever go into this magical file because if I touched it, the code would no longer fit. And at the demo of the new, we were doing all this new stuff. We were shoehorning in a bunch of other stuff that had no business being in the software. And so look what happened. I didn't know how to use this technology that was absolutely nothing to do with my job whatsoever. Yes. And, this just goes to middle management and why I have trouble keeping a job. Because, well, there's some anxiety with the military. I should get into that in another video. But suffice it to say, I will never be bullied at work. And if you're going to try, I'm going to call you out. And if you're a shitty HR person and you want to hold it against me or you want to take their side, fuck you. I'm out. I quit. I did quit. They were going to lay me off. It's funny too. The day I was going to give my 2 weeks notice, because I had found another job already, they fired me and just shut all my shit off, which I thought was funny. It was like, okay. And the poor guy, I don't know what happened, man, but they gave this to him And he didn't know anything about how this worked. He knew the other stuff that worked on, hardware that was super big and you could put basically anything on it. Computers these days are big. You don't have to be um, really particular with making stuff efficient and tiny and you can just do whatever. There's so much RAM and power that like a normal program you wouldn't even notice it on the GPU. But no, this thing, I saw this and man, all kind of feelings just came flooding back to me. Yeah, not good ones either. Just and remembering like the morons I worked with. And look, I so I would like to use the R word, but I can't because that word is not to be used anymore. And honestly, we need a new word because if I could call them the R word, that would be very disrespectful to people with mental disabilities. And how dare I lump those people with actual struggles in with these idiots that I worked with? It's terrible. Like, I wouldn't wish that on anybody. Like, you can't be that dumb. And I don't know what happened, but I don't really care. But it brought back a bunch of feelings. And I'm having some issues right now because I'm going through some things and I'm trying to fill out some paperwork and stuff. And I have to delve into the past and talk about a lot of the things that have caused me anxiety, depression, PTSD, all that stuff. And it's becoming overwhelming and I'm having a hard time. I just sort of shut down. So when I saw this, I thought, as it made me shut down, I'm like, well, this is a great video to talk about. And I don't even know what I'm going to call it, but it was fun going down this trip with memory lane. If you're ever in the hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot or whatever, and you see a Whirlpool oven, go over there and push buttons until you get to Sabbath mode. And then they won't be able to use it for the rest of the day because there's no way to undo it once you do it. Like, just like the Reddit post, like, sorry, man, you're out of luck. You really shouldn't push that button unless you mean it. All right. So like, comment, subscribe, do all the things for the algorithm. And until next time, peace.